Okay, what's going on, people? Welcome back to another video. My name is hughwizzy and you're watching another transfer talk video where we're just going to be getting down to the nitty-gritty of what has been going on lately. There's a lot of news coming out today, so as I was saying in previous videos, if you're expecting this one to be super high editing, I'm really sorry, it's not going to be. It's just a chat. Sensational news coming out left, right and centre that I think needs discussing a variety of topics. So I figured today we'd just do a couple of videos talking about those in particular. We've already done the Nemanja Matic to Manchester United deal. We've already linked Serge Aurier, who has apparently agreed personal terms with Manchester United as well. We're now going to be moving on to the Neymar saga, as it is being reported from the Middle East by a Qatari newspaper called El Watan that Neymar is due to fly to Doha on Tuesday to meet PSG chairman Nasser Al-Khelaifi to discuss what is going to be a world record breaking transfer fee. 222 million euros is his release clause, and Barcelona have told PSG that that is what they're going to need to pay. And it would appear that the Qatarian-backed French side willing to do the deal. Incredible scenes here. He looks like he's going to be made the face of the Qatari World Cup 2022, and whilst he still has 4 years left to run on his contract at the moment, PSG look absolutely determined to make a break, steal this guy and set a world record by meeting that redonkulous release clause in his contract. And you just have to ask, has he actually played his last Barcelona game? Has he actually pulled that shirt on for the very last time? Because Barcelona seemed very confident about keeping this guy past this summer. They really did, especially seeing as last season, I believe, he just signed a new 4 or 5 year contract that would have kept him at the club till 2021. Please correct me in the comment section below if I'm not making any sense, but it would appear that all of that is out the window. I mean, contracts, are they really worth the paper that they're written on anymore? I can remember seeing Suarez, that tweet from Liverpool, incredible tweet, celebrate, Christmas has come early, yeah, because he signed that contract, he's not going anywhere. Mate, wake up, yeah. Even if Lectural Sanchez signs that contract, it means sweet FA. All it's doing really is protecting the interests of the club, making sure that they are properly compensated. And it would appear that after his training ground bust up with new teammate, it should be said, Nelson Semedo last week, I mean, this is sensational stuff. They're literally punching each other on the training field. That things have taken a step forward. I mean, it's been a very, very interesting week for Neymar. Spotlight was really on him when they were playing Real Madrid, obviously El Clasico taking place in America, in I believe Miami, 3-2, Barcelona winning, and he played well, but within 2 minutes he'd gone off injured, and you were just thinking, is this jinxed? Is this transfer jinxed, or is this part of the plan, the charade? And I have to say that I haven't done a video on this because I simply refuse to believe that it was happening. I just simply refuse to believe it. I remember going to Qatar, it's about a year and a half ago now, just over a year and a half ago, whatever it is, and there was talk then. They really believed that they could get the deal done. But I blew it out of the water because I just thought, that's ridiculous. You're never going to be able to pay 222 million. Well, if anyone in the world of football can, my friends, it is PSG. Make no mistake about that. And since Barcelona have Neymar, Messi and Luis Suarez up top, they're paying a fortune every week for these 3 players. And without that Qatari Foundation sponsorship, I hate to break it to you lads, especially those cools out there, you just can't afford the guy. Not all 3 of them anymore, right? So, the situation that we're being left with is it is quite possible that Neymar will be a PSG player. And I've got to say, I don't really understand the player's intentions, unless, like many other Brazilians, he's solely about the money. Obviously, his family, especially his father, who seems to run all of his financial affairs, is going to be benefiting hugely from this, and it would seem that they're actually delaying the deal to make sure that he himself can cash in on a £23 million loyalty clause. But I have to ask, right, what kind of contract would enable you to sit tight for a week for a £23 million loyalty bonus when you're literally able to pay the release clause a week later? It just doesn't seem to make sense. However, can't argue with the reports that are coming out left, right and centre. It really would appear that Neymar is going to be a PSG player within the next 48 hours. Paris Saint-Germain have actually gone so far as to ask the French police if they have an issue with them parading their new signing around the streets of Paris. And I mean bus top parade style. I mean, it's sensational stuff. He is obviously a great player, an incredible player, who at this rate, if my calculations serve me well enough, will overtake not only Pele, but also R9 for goals scored for his country. And obviously they play a little bit more these days, but he's very young. And if you can take Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo out of the picture for just 1 or 2 seasons, which is bound to happen in the not so distant future, this guy is an almost dead cert to at least be in that top 3 for Ballon d'Or consistently over the next 8 to 10 years. Surely. That said, will Barcelona be considered a big club if they not only let Asset go, but deem Philippe Coutinho as a replacement? Now you can argue that this guy is not being touted as a replacement. In fact, common sense tells me that because the two of them are pretty much best friends and have been since they were young'uns, this is to appease Neymar. This is to keep him on board. This is very similar in terms of the way you can explain it as the Paulinho deal. It makes no sense otherwise. You can do better. But to keep Neymar happy, get Paulinho, 40 million euros. What the hell is that? It's nothing. It's pocket change, small change. Yeah? We need to keep this asset on board. And if you bring Coutinho in as well, Neymar will probably be a happy bunny, and he will carry on playing for Barcelona with a smile on his face and a much, much improved contract. There's still a part of me which thinks that that's exactly what's going on. However, after the wrapping up of their tour in the US, Barcelona are indeed stepping up their efforts in the market, and it would appear that Philippe Coutinho has indeed agreed personal terms with Barcelona. That in itself, to me, is controversial enough, and it has to be taken with a pinch of salt, especially since it's coming out of a paper called Mundo Deportivo, which is pretty much the equivalent of the Daily Mirror. However, it strikes me as fascinating. I'm not sure who's putting these deals together, and it just makes me think a lot of the time in football these days that it's not so much about the ability of the player. Obviously that is interesting, and obviously that is important, but it's just as much to do with keeping other people happy. It's just as much to do with these secret clauses that we just don't know are in the contracts, and also about agents who, as far as I'm concerned, are really running football now. Raul, Mendes seem to dominate the market. Now, Barcelona aren't only targeting Coutinho, also being linked with a £53 million move for Mesut Ozil from Arsenal, which I find very interesting. He's actually someone that I believe would suit the style of play of Barcelona perfect. And where Messi, without question, doesn't want anyone kind of treading on his toes. The guy runs the place. If you don't know that, then you're in denial, or you're just not educated about the thing in itself. He does run that club, and he can get rid of you if he doesn't like you. But Mesut Ozil would surely be perfect for that role. He is so selfless, so unselfish, so giving, so willing to assist. I'd see him as absolutely perfect for what they're looking for. However, they're also being linked with Borussia Dortmund's Ousmane Dembele, and of course, Monaco's version of the truth, my boy, True Ballers FC starting 11, Kylian Mbappe, the truth. Who are they going to end up with? It remains to be seen, but I thought we'd have a little chat. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe if you're new, and drop the video a damn like if you breathe oxygen. For now though, I've been hughwizzy, and this has been a lot of fun. Peace.